Hey guys, and welcome back to Narcissu 2. So, let's, actually, let me turn down my volume because I forgot to. Now let's continue. For that question, there came no answer. Just the usual gentle smile faced me. When I left the church, it was like a deluge of cicada cries. The sun right overhead dropped sharp, black, short shadows during the peak of the heat. In the middle of this, Chihiro-san said she would go now to university, and when that ended, she would come again to the 7th floor. Saturdays, she also went to school for the disabled, and Sundays, she helped with mass, or so she said. I was sure that compared to people of similar age, she was entirely different. They would pass their time in self-centered and fun ways. This way of life, whether it was only Chihiro-san who followed that path, or if one were a Catholic, it was perfectly natural. I didn't know. Once again, coming to the hospital, I followed the white tape running along the floor and headed to the elevator. The elevator door or bell chimed, and on the now often crossed 7th floor, I hastened toward the room where Himiko-san was waiting. I knocked on the door. "Come in." The door opened with a click as I stepped in. "Welcome. Today was probably hot too, wasn't it?" Before I could reply, I was caught by something else. At a glance, it seemed that she was in the middle of digging around for something. This? Today's a bathing day, so I was getting ready." Now that she said so, I saw the set out around the table were wash basins, shampoos, and the like. "I know. Why don't you come in with me?" "Come in?" "That's right, together in the bath." "Huh?" What's so funny? That reaction just now was the best. Normally you're so cool, so even more so. Now, we're both girls, so you don't have to be embarrassed about it." I thought about retorting that Himiko-san wasn't a girl, but stopped. "Well, let's go." But wait. Yeah, don't worry. Somehow, Himiko-san seemed to be having fun. Like she were having fun at my hesitation. As if she were pushing me from behind, taking me along. Water splashed. "See? Washing the sweat off feels good, doesn't it?" In the end, I was almost half forced into the bath. It was just that I had thought that it wouldn't be wide enough for us to go in together, but there was enough room for two to manage. Most likely it had been built with the assumption that a helper would attendant would also go in. But instead of the size of the bath, I noticed something else. I couldn't help but fall silent. Is it unusual? Saying that, Himiko-san pointed at the large scar on her own chest. So large that my own small scar couldn't even compare. Well, I guess I'm also a girl after all. When I got this, it was a big shock. I quietly listened to those words. Even if I had wanted to reply, I couldn't think of what to say. "Oh hey! I'll wash your back, so sit there." Alright. And so together in the shower, she gently washed my back with a towel. At that, I recalled how it was like Chihiro-san had earlier wiped my sweat away. And I'm having a hard time reading, apparently. For me, I didn't know whether Himiko-san was a devoted Catholic or not, but both of them, without question, I believed, were very kind people. Say, Himiko-san, why are you avoiding Chihiro-san? Just like I said before. Because she's a kind and good person? Well, that's half of it. Then the other half is... That's a secret. There's also a rule after all. Rule. That had also been the word from before. And if so, what am I? I'm not a gentle and kind person, so the One-san will be kind to me? At that question this time, Himiko-san also fell silent. And then after a bit of thought, "She's special. That Professor Croquet." Saying that again. Water splashed again. "Ah! Hey! It's about time to get out! In the end, the conversation was avoided. Even without that, Himiko-san's words were full of incomprehensible points, full of secrets. But just maybe, I was being mixed with someone else in her eyes. After knocking, the door opened with a click. So, have you finished eating? Hey, you're leaving the broccoli again. But I don't really like them. Oh, there's just no helping you. Even though before, she would eat them, now she had come to leave them because she didn't like them. But this wasn't like her sickness had turned for the worse and her appetite dulled. It was simply that she was warming up to me, probably, thinking that made me happy also. Well, here, thermometer. You can take it in your mouth, but don't bite on it. Okay. With a smile, the girl held the thermometer in her mouth. What shone on that face, the summer sun, came through windows that could only open 15 centimeters. Today, as I once again sat in the folding chair, she directed a happy face toward me. Oh, wait, whoops, that wasn't a yawn. Yeah, there we go. Hey, it's dangerous, so no talking. Alright. In a moment, the thermometer's alarm rang, and I read out the numbers on the LCD. What degree? 36.5, whatever. Celsius, that's it. This is about normal. Then I might want to go today too. The courtyard or ice cream? Which one? It might be hard to pick. If there were no problems with her temperature, they could go to either one. This was with the doctor's acknowledgement, and lately, it had already become a tradition. Oh, well, yeah. Other than that, a lady I didn't know spoke to me. A lady you didn't know? When? Last night? Who could it be? The people who could come to this place called the 7th floor was, in its own way, supposed to be restricted. First, there were patients, and the families that come to visit. Then, there were the doctors, nurses, and us helpers. Other than that, rarely just the priests or sisters would come. That was supposed to be it. Was it someone's visitor? She was wearing pajamas. I think she's someone from here. That was a bit strange. Sure, in a normal ward, the mingling of patients was common. Once in a while, from a chance meeting in this place, even lifelong friends or business partners would be made. But the 7th floor was different. Because everyone was aware of their imminent death, mingling between patients was almost unthinkable. And what did she say to you? I was asked, which time? Which time? Yeah, she said that if it was the first, she had something to teach me. What did you say? When I said I didn't really understand, I was told she'd come again. What could that be all about? Come to think, there had been a rumor I heard. How among only the patients on the 7th floor a legacy continued to be passed down, of rules and the like. Of course I didn't believe it, and when I asked my previous assigned people, of course they denied it. But if such a legacy really existed, just what on earth were they passing down? One-san? Sorry. Without meaning to, I had been staring into space. Well, shall we go to the courtyard today? Look, for once, today's weather isn't that hot. But leaving the ice cream is a bit sad. Then let's eat ice cream in the courtyard. Even if it was cool, it was midsummer. No matter how much wind there was, the sunlight itself was strong. That was why, leaving the girl on a shaded bench in the courtyard, I dashed to a neighborhood convenience store. Sorry for the wait. With the ice cream bought from the convenience store in hand, I ran back. Whoa, so much sweat. Whew, so hot. Because of the flowing sweat, without thinking I flapped my skirt, dashing in this midsummer. Sweating was to be expected. Here, it hasn't melted yet. Ice pop. Thank you. But where's Onesan's share? It's okay. It was a 60 yen pouch of soda ice. Oh, yum! With an exaggerated flourish, I took out the contents to show her. Ta-da! Ah, it comes in two! Take that! The ice pop broke into two with a snap. Here, half for you. Under the blazing summer sun, the two of us ate soda ice. Yeah, eating ice is the best in hot places, isn't it? Yes, but it's melting a bit. As we spoke about that, we ate. In the flower bed before our eyes, pansies and gabaras bloomed proudly. The winter use area from the other day, even that would most likely have something planted in it again. I might want to ask, or I might want you to do that thing again. Sure, so hold the ice for a bit. Okay. Both hands of the girls held one ice each. One was mine, and the other was hers. And then I took from my pocket the rosary and as always, brought my hands together quietly. As we forgive those who trespass against us, forgive us for our trespasses. The Lord's Prayer, also called our Lord. Probably anything would have been fine. Simply my feelings were that if she was happy, or if she were happy, that I thought of her, then that was enough. Okay, all done. Thank you. No, it's not like any great magic after all. In the end, I was simply one of the faithful, and it was nothing more than imitation. It probably didn't need saying, but none of those words were my own either. Today? Today, whose words were they? Of course, Lord Jesus himself. Then, there are other people's too? Yes, there are words of very great saints, popes, words from many people. Wow, there's so many and Onesan knows them. To the girl who seemed impressed, I gave a nod. Of course, I didn't know them all, but reading the things related in a way to the gospel was my intention. Oh, I know. Hey, how about I give this to you? As I spoke, I once again took out from my pocket the rosary. Eh? It's okay for me to take this? Sure, I have another one. What's important is that this way we'll be able to do it together. I can do magic too? Well, I don't know if it's magic. Holding the rosary in her hand, the girl looked happy. Normally, patients of the 7th floor were admitted and discharged a number of times, but for the girl, there was no home to return to. That was why she was always here. That was why I, too, was always by her side. Nello and Alois met, and soon it would be the 2nd month. Normally, it was the time that the first discharge would have come. Chapter 14. Taboo. Oh, I guess this game is a lot longer than I thought it was. Here, today's lunch. I'll be going. Oh, whoops. Just like always, with lunch in hand, I headed to the hospital. Even though it was already halfway through August, the hot days still seemed to be continuing. The elevator bell rang. The 7th floor. To the nurses whose faces I had become familiar with, I lowered my head slightly in greeting. What I then saw in the hall was a number of patients. Since it was right when the morning temperature examination ended, they had probably come with their helpers for a walk. Suddenly, while looking at those people with white wristbands, a thought came to me. Of the residents of the 7th floor, couldn't they be divided into two groups? The patients who seemed almost to have taken a philosophical view and were calm, and those who seemed to always be busy doing something. It's fine. I'll be firmly supporting you. Hearing a voice that I recognized, I turned around and there was Chihiro-san. She was with an elderly lady in a wheelchair. Most likely that person was Chihiro-san's assigned person. Say, I'll walk again later. Could we do that? Let's see. When the sun fades a bit more, let's go to the courtyard. With a calm way of speaking, she turned her usual gentle face to the elderly lady. Say, Chihiro-san, would you do that thing you always do? Yes, I can. I had thought she would answer that way, as she quietly joined her hands. And lead us not into temptation. And she offered up a prayer, a number of other words following. Say, Setsumi-san, do you always pray like that? Yes, because praying for someone is a good thing. Chihiro-san answered with her usual kind expression, but at those words I felt something that tugged at me. For someone. That was why I decided to ask a direct question. It can't be for yourself? That's... There her words stopped. There were no more responses from her. The usual gentle face was also gone. The first time I saw that expression on Chihiro-san, a simply troubled face looked at me. After knocking, I opened the door. Again, like before, Himiko-san was gazing at maps. At my entering the hospital room, she just gave me a brief glance, her eyes soon returning. Is it interesting? Does it seem that way? As I answered, I sat down next to her and gazed at the maps also. Just as I thought, this sort of act couldn't be considered fun, but these maps, what were they to Himiko-san, I wonder? Even the 7th floor people who seemed to have taken a philosophical view on everything, perhaps they too wavered with some regrets. If one were to compare, then we are the condemned. Eh? We've been only informed that we will die, but that day when it will come is unknown. So we're hounded by that limited time, sorry. The condemned. Now that she said it, one could almost agree. Just as I had thought just before, on the 7th floor there were people who were always busy. Rather, one could even say that because they knew they were dying, they were trying to be lively. Or perhaps, for people, being aware of death, maybe that's the first time they are also able to become aware of life. Those who are calm, those are probably the ones who have already prepared themselves, or perhaps those who pretend they have. And Himiko-san is? Of course the latter. At this age, there isn't anyone who could prepare themselves. She declared it plainly. If that weren't true, then I wouldn't be talking about the 10 things I want to do before dying, now would I? Saying just that. Once again, Himiko-san gazed at the maps. Then she turned to me, who was gazing at the maps in the same way. Setsumi, your hair, it's growing long, isn't it? It might be. Now that she mentioned it, it might have gotten a bit longer. This month, Mother hadn't cut it for me yet. Shall I cut it for you? Eh? Come, One-san here will cut it for you. At the sudden offer, I couldn't really grasp the situation, but Himiko-san was already walking ahead and I followed her. Then, when we came in front of the nurse's station, she turned to the nurse inside. Hey, I'd like to go up, so can you lend it to me? There's nothing wrong with that. Is it a haircut? Yes, there's no wind today after all. Then after taking something from the nurse, Himiko-san once again walked down the hall. Setsumi, over here! Walking a bit, the place we finally stopped at was the end of the hall. To be correct, it was just where you got off the emergency stairs, in front of an always closed large metal door. Up until now, I had never seen it opened, but probably this was the entrance for the roof. Ta-da! And here, the key comes on stage. The heavy metal door creaked open. For a second, the world turned pure white. When my eyes adjusted, what appeared before me was strong wind, summer sky, high fence, as laundry items, sheets, fluttered in the wind. Today the weather's nice, isn't it? It's perfect for hair-cutting weather. Looking up at the sky, Himiko-san spoke up. This is the first time, right? Coming here. First. Well, that's normal. For hospitalized patients, it's a place they're absolutely forbidden to come after all. That reason, even without saying, could be imagined. a fence about the same height as the 7th floor's ceiling. What reason? Put it there was simple if you thought about it. So, shall we cut your hair? We're really going to do it? It'll be fine! Even looking like this when Aeson here is good at it. As she spoke, she pointed to a small bench before us. So first, have a seat here. And then she took out a big clear white garbage bag. Next, put your head through here. Probably cut with scissors. There was a hole just large enough to pass one's head through the garbage bag. When I put my head through as told, like a barbershop's cover, it totally covered my body. And then before my eyes, she made the scissors go swish swish. Well, miss, how long would you like it? Miss? Summer, like, really short? How does that sound? Just a trim. Understood. While laughing and running through with the brush, with a practiced hand, Himiko-san then began cutting. The delightful sounding swish of scissors. Just now, she seemed to be trimming the hair in the back for me. If she cuts it strangely, that'd be bad. But I have to leave this episode here, guys. I am all out of time. So if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!